Hi everyone, this is for the UPSC preparation. In this video, I have discussed Lok Sabha aspect of Parliament. This comes under Indian polity. The books referred are Laxmikanth's 4th edition and the ncert textbooks. In my previous video, these are the contents that I have discussed. Introduction to Parliament, where we answered some of the questions like what is Parliament, why do we need a Parliament, why do we need two houses of Parliament, structure of Parliament, and then Rajya Sabha, its composition, representation from states, union territories, and then discussed about duration of Rajya Sabha, oath taking or affirmation, presiding officers of Rajya Sabha, where we have chairman, deputy chairman, panel of vice chairpersons, secretariat of parliament, and then lastly leaders of the houses like leader of the house, leader of the opposition, and whip. You can find the link to my previous video in the below description of this video. Here we can see the image of Lok Sabha. We can distinguish between Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha by looking at their carpets. We can see the carpet of the Lok Sabha is in green color. Here we can see the carpet is in the green color, whereas the carpet of the Rajya Sabha is in red color. Coming to the composition of Lok Sabha, by our Indian Constitution, the maximum strength of the Lok Sabha is fixed at 552. Out of this, 530 seats for the representative members coming from the states, 20 seats are for the representative members coming from the union territories, and the rest were nominated by the president. At present, we have total of 545 members in Lok Sabha, out of which 530 representative members coming from the states and 13 for the representative members coming from the union territories, and the rest two are nominated by the rest two are nominated by the president. Representation of members to Lok Sabha. Okay, considering the states, representative members coming from states to Lok Sabha are directly elected by the people from territorial constituencies in the states. Here, for the purpose of elections, the entire country is divided into territorial constituencies of roughly equal population. At present, there are 543 total number of constituencies in India. The main principle of election here is universal adult franchise. Here, the one representative is elected from each constituency through this principle of election, that is universal adult franchise, which means every Indian citizen who is above 18 years of age is eligible to vote, provided that person is not disqualified under provisions of the constitution or any law. Initially, the voting age was 21, but later on, the voting age was reduced from 21 to 18 by an act known as 61st Constitutional Amendment Act 1988. In the case of Union Territories representation, the Constitution here has empowered the Parliament to prescribe the manner of choosing representatives of Union Territories in Lok Sabha. I mean, in other words, we can say as the Constitution has given the power to Parliament to devise a manner of choosing representatives of Union Territories in Lok Sabha. Accordingly, this Parliament has enacted Union Territories Act 1965. This Union Territories Act 1965 has provided that members of Lok Sabha from Union Territories are also chosen by direct elections. Okay, coming to nominations, two members of Anglo-Indian community are nominated by the president if the community is not adequately represented in Lok Sabha. Now, this Anglo-Indian is a person whose father or grandfather or great-grandfather, that is in the male line of generations, was of European descent but settled within the territory of India. Originally, this provision, the process of nomination, was to operate till 1960, but has expanded till 2020 by 95th Amendment Act 2009. Okay, system of elections to Lok Sabha. As I already said, the entire country is divided into territorial constituencies of roughly equal population for the purpose of election. For this purpose, the Constitution makes the following two provisions. Number one, we have number of seats allotted to that state in Lok Sabha, population of that state. is same for all the states. Is same for all the states, which means each state is allotted a number of seats in Lok Sabha in such a manner that ratio between that number and its population is same for all states. And second provision we have the population of each constituency divided by number of seats allotted to that state is same, which means each state is divided into territorial constituencies in such a manner that the ratio between population of each constituency and number of seats allotted to that constituency is same throughout the states. In brief, the constitution here ensuring the uniformity of representation in two respects, that is between different states as in the case of first provision, and also between the different constituencies in the same state as in the case of second provision. Okay, readjustment after each census. Generally, for every 10 years, if we observe the population number of each state in or any constituency, it changes. So accordingly, there is a need to change number of seats allotted to state in Lok Sabha. Also, there is a need in division of each state into territorial constituencies. Due to this, there should be readjustment after every census. So, after every census, a readjustment is to be made in allocation of seats in Lok Sabha to the state and division of each state into territorial constituencies. For this purpose, the Parliament has enacted Delimitation Commission Acts in 1952, 1962, 1972 and 2002. Here we can observe there is a lot of time gap between 1972 and 2002. Now this is because of Act which came in 1976 known as 42nd Amendment Act of 1976. It froze the above process. It paused the readjustment process till the year 2000. And another act known as 84th Amendment Act of 2001, sorry, 84th Amendment Act of 2001 made this ban extended for another 25 years, that is up to 2026. Okay, the 84th Amendment Act of 2001 also provided for the allocation of seats and all division of states into territorial constituencies on the basis of 1991 census. But later, the 87th Amendment Act of 2003 provided for the delimitation of constituencies on the basis of 2001 census and not on the basis of 1991 census. Reservation of seats for SCs and STs. Originally, this reservation was to operate for 10 years, that is up to 1960, but it has been extended continuously since then by 10 years each time. Now, under the 95th Amendment Act of 2009, this reservation is to last until 2020. SC and ST member can be elected by all the people of that constituency without any separate electorate, which means a SC and ST member can be elected irrespective of the castes of the voting people. A member of the SC and ST is not debarred from contesting a general seat, which means a SC and ST member can also contest for a non-reserved seat. Here we have two amendments. 84th Amendment Act of 2001. It provided for the refixing of reserved seats on the basis of 1991 census, and later 87th Amendment Act of 2003. It provided for the refixing of reserved seats on the basis of 2001 census and not on the basis of 1991 census. Proportional representation is not adapted in the case of Lok Sabha. Here, though the Constitution has adopted system of proportional representation in the case of Rajya Sabha, it has not preferred the same system in the case of Lok Sabha. Instead, it has preferred territorial representation for the election of members to the Lok Sabha. Under this territorial representation, every member of Lok Sabha represents a constituency. A candidate who secures majority of votes in that constituency is declared elected. Let us consider an example. For example, let's consider a constituency, say as A. This constituency is composed of two groups. One is majority group and other one is minority group. So here two members are contesting for elections, one from each group. So most probably member belonging to majority group gets elected and is declared as elected. And what happens here? This is a simple majority representation. This kind of simple majority representation does not secure due representation to minorities, that is small groups. This is a major defect in territorial representation. Proportional representation, which is adapted for Rajya Sabha, it mainly aims at removing defects of territorial representation. Under this kind of representation, all sections of people get representation in proportion to their number. There are two kinds of proportional representation. One is single transferable vote system and list system. In India, single transferable vote system is adapted for the election of members to Rajya Sabha, for the election of members to Lok Sabha, for the election electing the president, and for the electing the vice president. Coming to the duration of Lok Sabha, its normal term is 5 years from the date of its first meeting after general elections. Its normal term is 5 years from the date of its first meeting after general elections, after which it is automatically dissolved. It is not a continuing chamber, it is not a permanent chamber unlike Rajya Sabha, as what we discussed in the first video. The Lok Sabha can be dissolved even before its completion of term. If the if the PM advises the president to dissolve the Lok Sabha, and this cannot be challenged in a court of law. I mean, you cannot file a case against this in a court. Or if no party or coalition can form government. In such cases, the Lok Sabha can be dissolved even before its completion of term. The term of Lok Sabha sometimes can be extended for 1 year at a time in case of during the period of national emergencies. However, this extension cannot continue beyond a period of 6 months after emergency has ceased. Thanks for watching. More videos on topics of all general studies papers of mains and also for the prelims are yet to come. So subscribe for this channel and stay tuned.